Good morning, First Baptist. Last week, as we looked at the message that Jesus brought to the church in Laodicea, we are confronted with the fact that there's no room for dabbling in our faith. Are we all in? Or we say, I really don't want any part of that. It's almost better to say, I won't want any part than try to be in part way, sort of wading in the water instead of plunging all in. Jesus is so gracious that he continues to come to us. He continues to knock. And the question is, are we listening? Are we hearing? Are we opening up our life fully to him and say, Jesus, come in? And I want to fellowship with you as the most critical element and critical part of my life. This Sunday, we start a whole new sermon series, and I'm really excited about it. I've called it Starting Over. And it's looking at the story of Israel coming back from the exile, back under the leadership of Zerubbabel to rebuild the temple, under Ezra to kind of reestablish the spiritual state of the nation, and under Nehemiah to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. And in the midst of these stories of what was a disaster, how God, in a sense, vomited them out of the land into exile, is really a story, a beautiful story of restoration, a work that God does in us, that even in our failures, or even in the disasters that occur to us that may have really not had anything to do with us, he's right there in the midst as we start over, as we rebuild. God's grace and his mercy is sufficient to restore and to bring and make new what was lost. We'll see you on Sunday.